What is up, everybody? It is your boy Jason from Any Productions, and today we're talking about video games. I'm sitting here and we're gonna talk. I got a lot to talk about, and today's specific video game we're gonna talk about is a game I've been anticipating this whole year, and now that I've got all hands on deck, I was able to complete it, play for about 50 hours, and really soak it in. We're gonna talk about Cyberpunk 2077 today. Now, I'm going to give a full disclaimer before anyone comes in the comments to try to chop me up right now. I played on the Xbox Series X, okay? Obviously, it's backwards compatible from the Xbox One version, but you can still run it at 60 frames per second, which is a lifesaver, because if I couldn't, there probably wouldn't be no video like this, or I'd have to get it on PC. But I just wanted to use my Xbox. But we're going to get into this. Full disclaimer, this is my opinion, and my opinion only. All right, let's get into it. So, Cyberpunk 2077. CD Projekt Red, they dropped the critically acclaimed Witcher series. Beautiful series of video games. Not my cup of tea exactly, but you know, they always were good at pushing the narrative direction. And that is something that I can give them full heartedly and say that their stories in their video games are some of the most immersive stories and immersive worlds that there is in video game. Now, what I do want to say is that this launch was scuffed, and it was messy, and the release was rushed. And the problem that I see with that is that they had so many opportunities to release this game, and they delayed it, and that's okay. Delaying is good. If it means that the game is going to cook a little bit longer, we're going to see a more finished product, then please delay the game. But why I just wish that they would have delayed it at least a little more. Just push it off to the beginning of 2021, because these guys that are still on last gen consoles, which are most people, I mean, let's be honest, getting a next gen console right now, it's not the easiest thing to do. I was prepared for it, and I got lucky, and that's just how it is. But even if you do have the money, it's still hard to find these consoles out here because of bots, and that's a whole nother topic that maybe I'll save for another video. But it's hard to get your hands on next gen right now, and the game was made for, it was supposed to come out when last gen was the only thing out. I just am very disappointed with how poorly it runs on the last gen consoles. Specifically the base Xbox One, base PS4. I mean, you struggle to keep the 30 FPS. The world is less populated. It's less dense. It doesn't feel like a city. So for anyone playing on last gen, I mean, your performance, it just ruins the game, and that sucks, because the gist of the game, the story, the meat, is probably one of the best narratives in a video game that I've played personally. Besides, obviously, this year's Ghost of Tsushima, that game was fucking incredible. So many good things to say about that. But Cyberpunk was great. The story was great. It was short but sweet. It gave you a lot of decisions, and I love that your life path gives you certain dialogue options, and you know, you could tell when you talk to someone, their facial expressions, how they're feeling. They're you know, shake their head in disapproval, or you get someone to smile, or you do, you know, you really feel like you have the control as V and say what you want to say. Which one, we knew that was coming. We knew that was going to happen. I just loved it. I loved it. I was so in love with the dialogue options and what you could say and the people you could interact with. I loved the weapon designs. Some of the weapon designs were just cool. It just looked cool. The ideas were there. Obviously, a little bit more variety is something I would appreciate. But the gunplay and the weapon designs were pretty good, solid. We're gonna go into pros first, because for me there is a lot of pros. The Like I said, the characters in the story, the guns, the actual gameplay is pretty good. The driving is pretty fun. The amount of cars that you can get is it's great. There's so much for you to do. Side jobs, main quest line. I mean, fights you can do. I mean, there's just so much that you can do. Um, it is a like 20-hour story, but like I said, I played 50 hours of it before even beating it. So take that take that as you will. It's got a lot of content. It's got a lot of content, and that's good. And man, one thing I do want to say is I honestly was invested, especially when you have those romance options, right? And this is not new. I mean, Mass Effect did it. This is not a new thing, but when it comes to this game, I just feel like who you romance with is important. It's important, and it adds to the story. And who I happen to romance with was a huge chunk of the story, right? And that's cool. It gives you a lot of freedom to pick, who you want to be friends with and who you want to be associated with. In a video game, that's pretty cool. So honestly, when it comes to the story, I mean, the city with the way it was designed, it's honestly like a solid 10, right? So I had a good time. I was invested and I was stressed out making my last decision. I'm not gonna spoil anything. Of course, this is gonna be spoiler free, but making your last decision, I don't know if it was just me. I honestly felt like there was a lot of gravity towards that. Like whatever happens changes everyone's lives in the game. It just put a lot at stake. And when a game makes you feel like that, it's doing the right thing. So Cyberpunk did the right thing when it comes to its narrative direction. And the design of the city is so good. I mean, I've seen it on PC. That's where, honestly, PC is where you experience the best version of the game right now, until there is like a next gen upgrade that can compare to it. But I mean, it's a beautiful game. Besides the last gen consoles, it's a beautiful, beautiful game. But it's not perfect. It is a buggy mess at some points in the game. And honestly, my last 10 hours were probably the most buggy the game was the whole time. I mean, there was countless times where I've had to load saves almost 10 minutes back because for some reason this guy that I had to talk to for a side mission, he just didn't appear. And the only fix was to go back to a save before you started that mission and then fast travel to somewhere else, and then he's there. What kind of bug is that? I've had bugs where it said that I didn't, like, there's certain gigs that you do, side missions, side jobs, whatever you want to call them. And if you go and do it and it's like, oh, you have to escort this lady to a car, right? If I escort this lady to a car, I would have the guy that gave me the job call me up and be like, oh, why didn't you escort her to the car, blah, blah, blah. Some dialogue about him scolding me that I didn't do the job right, and then you get paid less. But I escorted her to the car. The problem was she was bugged out and she was just standing through the car. The sit animation wasn't there. So the game was like, oh, she's not in the car. And I literally see the car driving away with the lady standing up in the car. The bugs were ridiculous. The bugs were just sometimes, honestly, I wanted to enjoy the game more. I wanted to finish more side quests before I beat it. But I was encountering so many bugs, and I honestly feel like the hotfix that just came out, 1.05, fucked a lot of shit up as well. It fixed shit, but it also messed shit up too. So they need to figure out these bugs. They need to figure out these problems with the game. And honestly, I would recommend to wait before you play this game if you're interested, because it is not the best definitive version of the game right now. And I hope for people that bought the game on launch, and I hope for people who buy this next gen or this last version get a free upgrade for next gen, because I mean, it's a great game. The story's great, but the condition of the technical prowess of the game, it's just a little bit embarrassing to say. To say that's like the harshest thing I've said in this review, and it's because it's important, right? When we want a game to come out, we want it to be finished and we want it to be working. And in 2020, and I get why. I'm not saying, I mean, these developers, they had to do a lot of this stuff from home because of the pandemic going on around us. But you're releasing unfinished products and you're charging them full price. I just feel like that's toxic, and it's just not really beneficial for people who, like me, who literally spend most of their money, hard-earned money, to enjoy these video games, to find these escapes in life, and that's genuinely what I use video games for. Is it's therapeutic, right? I mean, I'm so passionate about it. I'm going for my game design degree. Gonna get it in the next 3 years. You know, this is probably gonna be something that is my life. So yes, I'm passionate about it, and I wanted to sit here and I wanted to talk to you guys about the industry for a little bit because honestly, I feel like it's Cyberpunk is the word, like they got the most flack for it, but games like Modern Warfare, when it released, you cannot tell me when that game released it was a finished product. Over the months that it came out, it became a better game. Honestly, a completely better game. But why wasn't it the full experience when you pay that $60 price? Fallout 76 was a buggy fucking mess that really didn't have much in its world. And you wanted it to be an MMO type. You need to have so much in that world. And that game released full price. I mean, listen, guys. I can't tell you how to spend your money. I would wait. I'm one of those motherfuckers that can't wait, though. I'll be completely honest with you. I couldn't wait for this game. I really needed it. I needed it. I mean, it was just... I've been waiting so long for this game, so I definitely had to cop it. But if you guys played Cyberpunk and you want to let me know what you think down below in the comments, please let me know. And, of course, this has been Jason from Ready Productions. Everyone stay safe. Happy holidays. And stay tuned because you're going to see this the 23rd. So, the 24th, we're going to release our first 2020 picks. Top 10 albums. It's coming out tomorrow. So, definitely check that out. And, of course, shine your light and use code INDIE for 15% off. Raise Energy. Check the link down below. This has been Jason from Ready Productions. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and have a good motherfucking holiday, my friends.